What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to talk about why I'm still using the LGV60 in 2025 and beyond. So, when I say beyond, that's basically saying that I'm going to continue to use this device moving forward in 2026 and beyond. Why? Well, I'm going to give you some reasons. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the device, even though we know LG left the smartphone market, quite a few years ago. But the phone is still relevant. There's nothing wrong with the phone. Now, it's not getting software updates. And of course, it's not going to be as fast and fluid as these newer devices. But this is still a solid device in 2025 and beyond. Now, starting off, it's a flagship device. This is not some mid range or some, cheaply made device. This is a flagship device. Quality. I mean, I just love the way this thing feels. You got those cameras there. This thing is IP68 water and dust resistant. It has expandable storage up to 2 terabytes. Now that's a huge, huge deal for me. Let me turn this brightness down because I know this thing is super bright. This thing, listen, IP68 water and dust resistant and expandable storage. Yes, expandable storage, something that we no longer get on any flagship device. Okay, you can get it on a budget, you can get it on a mid-range, but they're not giving you no expandable storage on no flagship device, which I think is utterly ridiculous. Why? Because those phones are very expensive. And the more money you pay, the more you should get out of your phone. And I don't understand. You can make, companies can make dual SIM slots, but I can't get a slot for my micro SD card. I just don't understand that. Now I know, okay, some of you out there going to say, of course you know why, because it's money. They want to force you to buy a larger variant. Okay. I don't like it. I'll say that. I don't like it at all. There's nothing wrong with, still putting out a larger variant. Like, it's like you can still offer 256, 512, and 1 terabyte. You can still do that, but what's wrong with adding SD card support also? To me, you're making the device even more valuable to the consumer. That's just my opinion, but who cares about my opinion, right? When it comes to the manufacturers, they don't care. Now, the other thing is this thing has something else they removed, a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And that's something that not only me, but there's still quite a few people out there that miss that headphone jack. Now, I know pretty much everybody is converted over to Bluetooth, wireless headphones. And I'm not going to lie, they have caught up. They sound really, really great. They really do. But there's still others that still want the option. Like, why can't I have the option to use wireless earbuds or, a wired headphone connect, wired headphones? Why can't I have the option to use both? Why are you forcing me to just use wireless earbuds? I don't like that. That's why, for me, the Note 9 was so beloved, and it still is, because you had those options. You had the expandable storage, you got the headphone jack, you can use wireless earbuds, you have the phone where you could open up the iris scanner. You just had so many options when it came to that phone. So that's why that phone will always be very much beloved. Now, keep in mind, accompanying this headphone jack, you have that 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC, which LG had put in their flagships for years, and until they left the smartphone market. And I'm telling you right now, that thing sounds amazing, and no one else has put one in their device since then. You do have some phones out there that have really nice DACs in their devices, but still are not matching the quality of the LG V60's 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC. There's none out there to me that I've heard that's touching this one. It's just not. There's some good ones, but not this one. Okay? And if you're a person that loves, to, great sound coming from your phone, you're going to get it with the LG V60. And keep in mind, this phone is going to be dirt cheap. It's going to be dirt cheap. You may not even pay $200 for this phone. Keep in mind. All right. Now let's look at this display. This display is only a 1080p OLED display, but it's 6.8 inches, but it's very beautiful and it does get adequately bright. It gets nice and bright. Okay. It really is beautiful. I turned it down for this video because, some people complain that, my brightness is up way, way too high. Now, me looking at this through the camera, it looks really bright, but trust me, if I'm not looking through this, it looks just as dull and dim, and I can't stand using my phone like that because I couldn't hardly make out anything. But the display is beautiful. There are times when it actually looks like not a 4K, but a quad HD display. That's how beautiful of a job that LG did with their displays. And let me not forget also the dual stereo speakers. The dual stereo speakers on this device are amazing. They sound really good. They have very balanced sound. The highs, the mids, the lows, very balanced, and the speakers are very loud. Okay, they don't get distorted when they're at their highest peak. They don't. These speakers are great. These speakers still rival newer phones that I have. That's how great they made these speakers. And it's cool because you had that 32-bit hi-fi quiet DAC. Also, you know what else I noticed too? Even though it's not hooked up to a wire, but the times when I use this in the car through the Bluetooth, the sound overall still sounds better than when I use other devices because of that quiet DAC. Now, I know that's weird and some of you may not even believe that, but I noticed the difference when it comes to the sound. It just sounds different and it just sounds better. The music just sounds more vibrant. I could hear like every instrument, everything playing. Like, it's hard to explain, but it just sounds different when I hook this up in my car. Everything just sounds much, much better when it comes to overall sound. Now, with the always on display, not one of my favorites, honestly, but it's a good one because, I had a picture of me and my wife here. I don't know, what happened to it. I got to put it back there. But you can see it, you can see the clock easily, and when I get, I'm not sure. Yeah. When I get notifications, they'll come up down here. So it's cool. And you got your fingerprint sensor down here. It's kind of low. I think it should have been up a lot higher. It's really low. It should be right about here. So I don't like the placement of it, but you do get haptic feedback and you also get an animation when you hit it. So I like the fingerprint sensor. Now it's not nowhere near as good as the newer ones. This one, you actually got to hold your finger there. You just can't, it's not one of those just tap like this. It's just not one of those type of, it's just not. It's an older device, so you don't expect that. But you just press and hold, and it pops right open, so no problem with that. Now, let's talk about this battery. Now, this comes with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, okay? And I used to get 2 days easily with this device. Now it's more like a day and a half, which is still good for a phone that's old, okay? But 5,000 milliamp hours and the standby time is still great on this device as well. So I'm not having any issues when it comes to the battery life, not at all. Now, performance is not as fast as it used to be, but it's not super slow. As you can see how fast that opened. You got Amazon. Okay. For some reason, I guess when you're not use it for a minute, it'll end up closing. I gotta, log on again. But the device is really not slow. It's not. You see everything just popping on like it's no problem. Like, I'm just not having no issues when it comes to performance. Everything works pretty well. So when it comes to performance overall, no issues at all. No stuttering, no slowdown. Not really. Now, is it as fast, excuse me, as the newer devices? No, but it's adequately sufficient. If you're that person that it's not about you, they be doing these tests where they open and close, open and close, open and close. You're not, using your phone like that. Nobody's using their phone like that. They just not. Come on, they just gonna hit a button and they just want the app to open. That's all. They just gonna hit a button. They want the app to open. That's it. They ain't going through all this, trying to see how fast it'll. It is smooth. It's smooth. It's not silky smooth, like the newer devices. And of course, here I'm not using the LG launcher. I'm using Nova launcher. So, things are probably going to look a little different when it comes to animations. But this phone is still sufficient when it comes to performance. I'm not having any issues when it comes to performance. And you're getting wireless charging, which is slow, but you still got it. So at least you have that option. And with this device, you also you got pen support. Now, I've never used a pen on this, but you do have that option if you want. I prefer, phones like Samsung because the pen is inside the phone. I don't want to be trying to carry around a pen in my pocket, then I lose it. But you do have that option on here if you want to use a pen on this device. Maybe they may have a case where you could put the pen on the case. I don't know. I just never thought about even using, you know, the pen on this device, but you do have that option. Also, with these cameras, now these cameras, of course, a lot of people may think these cameras are not that good, but without getting to the specs of the cameras, these cameras are really good, especially manual mode. With manual mode, you can make these cameras look, your photos and videos look just as good as, a lot of these phones that they're making today with these newer cameras. The only phone I would say that this phone just can't touch when it comes to photos and videos for me is Vivo phones. Like I have the Vivo X Note and I have the Vivo X3. I mean Vivo X Fold 3, and it's not touching those cameras. It's just not. These are good. You got manual video mode and manual photo mode. You got all that, and this is great. And these cameras are still really, really good. I mean, really good. They can hold their own easily. But I'm sorry, when it comes to photography and video with the Vivo, it's not touching it. It's just not. And of course, those are way newer, newer devices, with newer, what do you call that? Technology. So it's understandable. But these basically can hold their own against any other phone today, in my opinion. And I'm sure the tech preacher would agree with me when I say that. All right. Now, also great build quality. You got that aluminum frame. It just feels nice and, like good quality. It has a flat display and it feels good in the hand. It really do. Now, I prefer a case because I know my hands are, dry a lot of times. So I end up dropping it. But I love the color and the build quality feels good. It feels solid. I've never dropped it on the ground with like a lot of people do. I just try to be more careful with my devices when I'm around, hard surfaces. If I get out the car and I know I don't have a case, I'm holding this thing tight until I know it's back in my pocket or I'm somewhere where if I drop it, I don't have to worry about shattering it. If I take it out of my pocket, I'm taking it out and I'm holding it tight because I can't stand, the little dings, the scratches. I don't want nothing on my device. Nothing. It irritates me. I just can't stand it. And of course, you have this dual screen case, which is crazy to me. Now not the case itself, but these things are still selling for over $100. Like the price for these they just won't go down. It's just crazy. It's just so expensive, this thing. And it's nice, don't get me wrong, but man, over $100 after all of these years later, that's just I don't get it. I just don't get it. Let me see if I can get it in here. I haven't used this in a minute. Right, there it is. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's been a while since I used this case. I like that the fact that you can see the time and stuff, but it doesn't stay on. It ends up just going out, and I don't know why. It should just stay on. But I really didn't use this all that much, even though I have it. I mean, I'm not selling it. I'm definitely going to keep it. But I really never used it all that much. The times I have used it, though, I really liked it. I like how you can literally have two full screens. It's almost like having a fold, but you have this in the middle, so you basically just having two full screens, which is cool. You could well, let me see, that was YouTube. So if I wanted to go to eBay, yeah. So it's like, see, I'm not signed into anything. I mostly use this phone for my alarm clock, honestly, but I still love it. So if I want to go, yeah, so I got Facebook over here and I got YouTube over here. Two full screens. Don't have to worry about bunching them down in half and half. Two full screens that work at the same time. Now that's cool. Especially if I'm using like my Bible app, like if I'm using one to read and then the other one to use my what do you call it? Um Commentary. I could do both easy and I could see it easily. So I do like this dual display, and other people use it for a lot of other reasons as well. It's a good case. I'm definitely not selling it and getting rid of it because if I decide to use it, at least I know I have it. But I mean, those are all of the reasons why I'm actually still using this and will continue to use this device moving forward beyond 2025. And the biggest reasons for me, honestly, is that it has expandable storage up to 2 terabytes. It has a headphone jack. It has a 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC. It has great dual stereo speakers. And the battery life is still good. And the cameras are still really good. And it supports this dual screen display. So, anybody out there that was kind of interested in this device. Now, of course, let me say again, it's not getting security updates and it's not getting any software updates. But long as you use it on your Wi-Fi at home and also not use public Wi-Fi, you'll be fine. You're using AT&T or T-Mobile, you'll be fine. Okay, because both of those companies encrypt their stuff. So just don't use public Wi-Fi with it. That's what I would suggest. Don't use public Wi-Fi. But those are all the reasons why I still am going to continue to use this phone beyond 2025 because there's nothing wrong with it. It still works well. And like I said, I love having a headphone jack. I love having that quad DAC. I love having the cameras on here are still good. I love that expandable storage and this dual case display. I mean, it's dual screen case. So these are all the things I love about this device. So thank you guys for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. I hope everybody out there is staying safe and staying well. And I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.